Following the decision to prioritise capital spending against reducing the number of people killed and seriously injured on Hampshire's roads, what proportion of people killed and seriously injured on Hampshire's roads are cyclists, and what proportion of Hampshire's capital spending on highways is on interventions designed to enable safer cycling?
Councillor Humby.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and congratulations on your appointment also. During the 5-year period between 2012 and 2016, the proportion of people killed or seriously injured on Hampshire's roads who are pedal cyclists has ranged between 17 and 22%. Identifying the proportion of capital spending that is targeted towards specific interventions to enable safer cycling is not straightforward. The needs of cyclists are routinely considered alongside all other road users when improvements to schemes are designed, with specific non-motorised road user audit undertaken to ensure the needs of all vulnerable road users are properly prioritised. With regard to casualty reduction programmes, there is no differentiation between spending on pedal cyclists compared to other road users. Instead, a comprehensive analysis is undertaken of all accident data and detailed statistics produced for particular sites, routes and areas. This information is subsequently used to identify locations where treatable accident trends and patterns exist, which can then be addressed through casualty reduction measures. As part of this process, we pay particular attention to collisions involving all vulnerable road users, which include pedal cyclists. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Humby. Councillor Tod, do you have a supplementary question?
Yes, I do, Madam Chairman. The 2015 cycling strategy clearly doesn't say that investments in cycling infrastructure should be, quote-unquote, difficult to identify, as you've just said, but explicitly highlights a requirement under that strategy to identify a prioritised programme of cycle infrastructure investments. Of the £128 million being spent by the county on capital investment in next year, how much of that comes from that prioritised programme of cycle infrastructure investments? Does it reflect the 2% of journeys made by cyclists, or the 7% of journeys under 5 kilometres made by cyclists, or even, as he talks about, the 17 to 22% of people killed and seriously injured on our roads who are cyclists? And if it doesn't, which figure does he think he should be aiming at?
Councillor Humby.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. As I explained in the answer, what we don't do is distinguish between any user groups. We understand there is a separate process for non-motorised users of that. We take into account all groups, cyclist groups and walking, and look at those strategies. So what we have to do, if we were to do that in terms of motorcyclists, which would be a higher figure than cyclists, would Councillor Tod suggest I actually prioritise spending on that and not on cyclists? Which is why we take an overview of all road users. And that's why we also have an extensive programme of education and training across all vulnerable user groups, including infants, juniors, young adults and older drivers as well. So we look at it as a whole programme, and that's where we focus our attention.